Give her and check if I'm live everywhere.
Make sure you don't see my butt on your camera, please.
Oh, it's not there, but your voice is there. Just give me the line. What's up, family? We about to get it poppin'. Wednesday check-in. Trump is the president. Let's go. I'm just getting myself set up here. Wi-Fi is pretty bad. We in a mountain right now in France. So bear with me while I get this thing popping. Talk to me. Where people checking in from? Where you guys at right now? How y'all feel about the election? Who won? How y'all feel about it? Trump won. He is now the president. How y'all feeling about it? Talk to me. A lot of people upset. A lot of people excited. What are you? What are you? How is this going to impact your business? How can you grow your business? No matter who's the president, you still got to grow. You still got to get to this money, right? So we're going to be talking about all that today. Touching base on a couple things. Love, did you do a check for me? Talk to me. Check in. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? How y'all feel about this? You happy he won? You upset he won? How you feel? Let's talk about it. And let's talk about what he did that I liked from a campaign perspective and a marketing perspective versus what Kamala did from a marketing perspective and why I think that she lost versus him winning. One of the major things that I found was there was no consistency in Kamala's branding and marketing. She started off as the candidate for joy, then she switched to the hate Trump campaign and he's the worst and the reason you should vote for me is because I'm not him. And then she never really got away from talking about Biden and like she was basically in support of everything that they did in the last 4 years, and basically people are tired of it. And she was supposed to stand up against him and say, I'm going to be different in a different way. I'm going to be the change candidate. But nobody believed she was going to be the change candidate because it just seemed like she was just following the same blueprint, right? So this is very important when I'm talking about my formula, my 4C's formula: culture, content, community, commerce. I feel like if you look at both campaigns, which one had the more structure when it comes to that 4C's campaign, I would say it was Trump. So let's kind of break down both of them and explain which one had which and like what was strong for what and what was weak for the other one, right? So the first thing is Trump had culture. So we already know his whole MAGA movement is not even just the Republican Party. He completely gutted the Republican Party and made an entire new counterculture movement called MAGA. And MAGA, Make America Great Again, has its own culture, its own vision of what America being great again. And I feel like in the past, the MAGA movement kind of felt more, um, you know, I would say a lot of people felt like it was the ultra right, racist people, things that didn't feel comfortable with people. I feel like in 2016, 2020, we kind of saw that in the culture. People were like a little bit tired of it. That's why they wanted to vote for Biden and all this type of stuff. But I feel like overall, we saw that it's actually this campaign around, he kind of revived it and made it something bigger, something more important than what just encapsulating those people in the rural areas. He started to encapsulate a lot more people. So people from all different cultures, all different races were really buying into the Make America Great Again movement and the culture. So he gave them a great vision that we're going to be wealthier than we've ever been. We're going to be stronger than we've ever been. We're going to be more protected in our borders, in our cities than we've ever been. And that was the vision that he was basically saying, follow me and I'm going to take you to this vision. So he had his culture down packed. Now let's compare Kamala's culture. What culture did she have? At first, her vision was, I'm the candidate of joy. I'm going to bring fun and peace and a new change of these older leaders and this type of stuff. But when we started asking her questions, when she started getting on podcasts and getting on shows, which she did very few compared to Trump, um, she wasn't able to actually articulate all of her plans, all of her goals, and she was actually looking very silly in where she wanted to take the country and where she wanted to take the people because she wasn't confident in what her goals is. A lot of things that I saw, she was actually flip flopping. So if Trump said he was going to not tax tips, then she was saying, I'm not going to tax tips. Then if they were saying we're the common sense party, then she was saying we're the common sense party. And it's just a lot of different things that she kept flip flopping on her vision and goals when Trump never wavered. For the last 10 plus years, he's been on the same campaign of Make America Great Again and getting us richer, getting us in a place of abundance. And I think that was huge for this campaign. So you got Kamala's culture versus Trump's culture. That's level one. Level two is going to be content. This is where I think Trump completely used the modern way of communicating, which is through content, where he had everything against him from a mainstream media. She had 3 times more budget than him to outspend him on ads to do all these things. He was actually under budget and didn't have nowhere near as many endorsements from celebrities. She had every single celebrity endorsement out there, and basically um, his technique was, I'm going to just do more content. I'm gonna kill him with quantity, right? And then from that quantity, we got to actually experience him and get to know him better. So a lot of people that were independent, and I'm not gonna lie, I was independent because I voted for Trump in 2016, and then I voted for Biden in 2020, and then this year I wanted to go for Trump. I didn't get to vote this year, but I was gonna go Trump, and I decided that because of how much more work, groundwork he was doing when it comes to being on the internet, being on these podcasts 2, 3 hours, talking to people, being regular, being a normal human. He made you feel like that uncle that you know is a little crazy, but he gets shit done. He makes the family look good. He gets the job done and he's growing. And I feel like that was the big difference between Trump's content versus Kamala's content. Kamala's content was very what I would consider, it was, she was trying to be creative. She was creating content with specific goals. She was trying to say, okay, these are my talking points. I'm going to talk about abortion. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about that. But Trump kind of, he has his main points, but he was talking about everything with everybody. He was going on Andrew Schultz podcast, talking about his family history, talking, cracking jokes, talking about all these different things, and then he'll go on Patrick Bet Davis podcast, talk about a bunch of other different things. Go on Joe Rogan, talk about a bunch of other different things. Versus with Kamala, every interview sounded the same. Every interview, there was no personality, there was no connection there. So, from a content perspective, she had the mainstream media and all these endorsements, but the content wasn't really giving people enough context on her values, on her goals, on her vision, on her mission. Again, you have to build on that first C, the culture. If Trump had the ability to go on these platforms and give more context to why he believes the MAGA movement is so important, how he's going to do that by closing the border, by drilling and getting more oil, by incorporating these business leaders like Vivek and JD Vance and Elon Musk. All of these things were pieces that help build that content machine and solidify the context of the culture. So you use the content as a vehicle to give people more context about your culture, right? So that was step two, and I'm going to give that one to Trump as well. Now, step three is going to be community. This is where I feel like the difference between the left and the right really shined out, because the left was making fun of all of Donald Trump's rallies, but the man has been rallying for like 2 years. I don't think people understand the value of a live event, of in person events, being around like minded people. This is why religion and the church are so big. Whether it's you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, whatever it is, there's a reason why these religious cultures are so strong and powerful, is because you have to congregate every day or every week inside of your place of worship. This creates an environment of all the people that are like-minded, that are indoctrinated into this belief, into the culture of this program, of this church, into the content. They're reading the Bible, they're listening to the pastor. All of these things are layers of indoctrination that help people get a deeper meaning and a deeper connection. And all of those things that Trump was doing at these rallies, it sounded crazy and it sounded funny when you cut out the the clips, but in reality, he was actually building a real strong base of those people that cared and went out and voted for him now. So that community aspect, the live events, he's been doing it for 2 years. They was throwing they was throwing felonies at him. They're throwing rape charges at him. They're doing everything. My man is still going and still preaching, still having these people riled up, excited, and everybody's getting to meet each other and see 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 60,000 people that all think and want the same thing for this country. It starts to create that belief that we're a real movement, we're really strong, we're really powerful, and those other people, they don't understand us. And that ability to really rile them up, she did it way too late because it was already at the end of their campaign. She only had a couple of months. Joe Biden just dropped out a few months back. So all of this stuff was starting to show as far as people coming out and supporting this, right? So you got the third C, which is um, community. So I would give that one to Trump. And the last one is commerce. Now, this is the one that I would say Kamala has a little bit better than the other ones, but I still think Trump win, and I'm gonna explain why. Um, Commerce, Kamala was able to raise more money than any other politician in the history of politics. So you guys understand, she raised over $1 billion. She had all the big corporate money. She had all the small businesses and all the woke left people supporting and getting money in. And Trump, he had a lot less supporters. He definitely raised hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars too, and he definitely has some corporate backings and all that type of stuff. But his commerce strategy was very different than hers. Hers was very focused on the political game and the political gain of actually riling people up and getting them to donate, while his strategy was more of, I'm going to promote and build and keep building on the brand that is Donald Trump. So what do I mean by that? He dropped sneakers. Remember the gold sneakers? He dropped gold sneakers. He dropped a crypto coin. He dropped a Bible. He dropped so many different products and so many different services. He's opening up buildings and pushing all of those things. So he was still doing all his promotions for his products and his services and using the presidential campaign more as a platform to push his other products and services, not necessarily trying to monetize and get people to donate directly to his program. And I think that was actually a very smart move because he's rich and wealthy, and instead of just asking for a handout, if you want to call the donation a handout, he was actually offering services and products so people can invest with him in that way and have the opportunity to sell those for limited editions and different type of things like that. So from a commerce level, I think he really took it to another level there. Um, but both had great campaigns. When I look at overall the four C's and my proven framework, I think that Trump just nailed it and killed it and took it to a whole nother level. And I think that's the reason why he won this election. I think it's exciting to see a contrarian thinker, contrarian believer be able to come out ahead when so many cards were stacked against him. But I think that this is what like America is all about essentially, because America is all about building relationships with the basically the David versus Goliath, right? Is the David. We want the David to win because he's the underdog. And at this point, um, in 2016 and then 2016, Trump was the underdog. He won. In 2020, Trump was the underdog and he lost. But people were tired of that first 4 years of him. They needed a break. This time around, he came back with a vengeance because everybody loves a good comeback story, and he came back with a vengeance to show that he still got it and that he still has the love of the people. And I feel like the work that he put in, getting shot, continuing to rally, continuing have multiple death threats, felony charges, so many different accusations, so many different things, and he still just kept pushing through and kept showing that he's not going to give up and he's not going to stop. So that was a big push towards helping him get to the next level. So this is my analysis on the political situation that's going on right now. I think now that we know for sure Trump has won, thank God it's by a landslide, so there's no debating. He actually won by over 5 million votes. And I thought it was very interesting that, they were calling it so close, and then it ends up being a landslide. Kamala didn't get any of the swing states. He took over all the swing states, including Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, and bunch of other ones as well. And they were saying how the whole time is neck and neck, is one on one, and next thing you know, there was no one on one. It wasn't even close. He kind of blew it out the water there. So I think that there's a lot of stuff to learn from this campaign, and also learn how mainstream media is playing a game with us. They're trying to control us. They're trying to limit our voice, limit the people's voices. And I think when you on X, and Twitter and stuff, and you're on these different platforms, you'll be able to see and hear different perspectives if you subscribe to different perspectives. So one of the things I like to do is I like to watch all spectrum of content when it comes specifically politics, right? So what do I mean by that? So I'll watch a right-leaning podcast like Patrick Bet-David's podcast, which is, he's a business owner, CEO, $100 million plus in assets. So he's gonna lean more Republican and talk about it from that perspective. But still, he still is not all the way like everything that Trump does is perfect. They still have great debates on there, and they have other people from the left, from the center, corporate, all that come in, and they debate and have great conversations. So I'll listen to that side when it comes to independent, right-sided media. Then I'll listen to the left, the progressive left with TYT and Shank and these guys, and I'll listen to that. I listen to the same story. So it's like Trump has a rally, Trump is doing something. I listen to the same story, and then after I listen to PBD, I listen to Zhenk and TYT, the Young Turks network, that's leaning way more left. And then I'll listen to all the pundits and the people in the middle. So then I'll listen to CNN, ABC, MSNBC, and I'll hear what they got to say. And it is dramatically different. Then I'll go on X and I'll see what X is talking about, and other YouTube channels, like random people. And that gives me a good picture and a good understanding of what the culture, the the society, how everybody's feeling from all these different sides. And it gives you a really good understanding that everyone sees the world how they want to. We're all stuck in our own lens. And this is a very big business key, because if you understand how to look at all of the people's viewpoints, then you're able to describe your viewpoint in a better manner to get a wider audience. And I think that's something that Trump did, where he was focused on actually elevating his voice and talking to different independent voters in a better way than what Kamala did. When Trump was going on these podcasts and talking to these different podcasts and different shows, he was hitting different markets, completely different. He was hitting investor shows. He was hitting young entrepreneurs and influencers. He was hitting creatives. He was hitting everybody, and that really started to build his likeness and his relatability to completely different markets. Whereas Kamala seemed like she was pandering. It was way more pandering of like, oh, if that's what you want me to do, yeah, I'll do something for the black man vote. Oh yeah, if that's what you want me to do, I'll do something over here for that. And I feel like that is where the stark difference started to show, is where when you start to really understand the context of everything and how to build, then you can take it to another level. Um, Salvadorian, what's up, man? He said Kamala had 2 months to do what Trump was doing for 4 years. I get it. I still can't believe how little the Democrats showed up for Kamala. Well, like if you go back to this live that I'm talking about here, man, I'm judging it on a strictly marketing and operations, how they differ in their process and in their systems. And that's why I think Trump won, is because he had a way better structure of how he was tackling this campaign and this go around. His culture was stronger than hers. His content was stronger than hers. His community was stronger than hers, and his commerce was stronger than hers. So all of those things allowed him to elevate past her. And yes, you could say she only had 2 months, but she's also been the vice president for 4 years, and we haven't heard about her until the last 2 months. I think that's a huge problem when I feel like I didn't even know, like, again, it felt like a shadow government. Like, Biden isn't hiding. We don't even hear from the vice president, and then we get to this moment when we finally see that the president is not capable to continue to run or do anything, and then they just replace him and put her in it. It's fucking crazy. Like, we would never think that, like, in a democracy you can't just put somebody in there that nobody voted for, basically. And they try to use that, oh, but she was part of the campaign and stuff. No, run a proper campaign. And it was just a lot of stuff that didn't make sense from a strictly marketing and scaling and operations of, like, you're trying to go for the number one job. This is the number one position in the world. You need to be qualified, you need to be vetted and checked. She wasn't willing to go on any opposing platforms that actually checked her and actually allowed her to rebuttal and conversate. Most of those things, her rebuttals were horrible, and it made her look bad, so they stopped doing it. Versus Trump, he was going on all the rebuttal podcasts, all the rebuttal places, and even if he was messing up and not doing too good, he was still doing himself, and you still felt that authenticity. And I think that's very important. The authenticity, whether you like him or hate him, he had enough of the authenticity to keep people engaged, keep people wanting more and engaging more. So from a marketing perspective, from a tech perspective, operation perspective, I just think Trump outclassed her from a culture, content, community, commerce level, our 4 C's. I do think Kamala is a great person. I think she has a great potential as far as in the future. But if she wants to go for 2028, she needs to do what Trump did for the last 4 years and is start campaigning now. So, hey, we didn't win now, but we got 65 million votes. So we're going to push hard for 2028, start doing rallies, start having long form podcasts, start doing all the things that he's been doing and that she was supposed to be doing that she never did. I think that's going to allow her to at least be the next potential candidate from a Democratic side. But if most of this time, and that I was talking to Charlotte, my wife, about this, I see that most of the time, um, these people don't uh, re-campaign or go again for round two. They lose and then they kind of just take the loss. That's one thing that I loved about Trump, is that he really looked at this campaign like a business obstacle. He did not let nobody stop him, and he pushed through to get the victory even when everyone thought it was impossible. Like, this has only been done in 1890 was the last time this was done, over 200 years ago, guys. This is crazy. Like, you have all of the 1900s, you got 2000. We're in 2025. We're about to be in 2025. He had all of these 100+ years that this hasn't been done, and he was able to do it and overwhelmingly take the victory. So I just think this shows the importance of marketing, the importance of understanding your audience, the importance of building a strong community and culture so that people could get riled up and passionate about what you believe in. Because if you can sell them what you believe in and what you see as a vision, then people can buy in and connect with you and ride with you to the end. When all the chips were stacked against him, the people never let stop believing. When he got indicted for 34 counts, that was the time he raised 34 million in a night. In one night, he raised 34 million because everybody saw that. They're like, how is this even possible? How are they throwing these many cases at an ex-president? Like, this has never happened in American culture. So all the things that they thought were going to break him actually boosted him and helped him grow and build even stronger. So that's really what I wanted to touch on today. I'm here to answer questions. um, I'm also here to take opposing thoughts on if you guys think Kamala ran a better marketing campaign than Trump. If you think that she ran a better operations, let's talk about it. But I think the numbers and the results speak for themselves. And I think if you look at it from a framework perspective, like I just explained in this live, you'll be able to see the stark differences of how he was able to keep leveraging one thing after another while she was fumbling one thing after another. And I think that really impacted this whole thing. Um, with that being said, I think that this is a time, a moment in time, and that we need to kind of like put it to rest and unite and build each other now as Americans, as the world is watching us with all these different things going on from Russia to Israel to all these different things around the world with China, whatever. We need to now unite as Americans, support each other left or right. You, my brother, you, my sister. We're here to make America great. Let's build it together, whatever that means to you. If making America great means to you, hey, I want to have free college and I want to have free healthcare and I want to have things, then let's talk about those things to make America better in that way. If make America great for you is, you know, closing the border and making our city safer, then let's talk about those things and what's the best approach and plan to execute that. I think that's one thing that's also very powerful is that Trump is a builder and a businessman who's been able to do his thing and grow his stuff. And now he's aligned himself with other innovators and engineers like Vivek, like JD Vance, like Elon Musk. All of these guys have built successful businesses from nothing. And they're able to look at the world and the country from an engineering standpoint of what could we do. It's called first person, right? First person principles is like, how could I build this? Is like looking at the iPhone and not saying I want to buy an iPhone, but how can I build this iPhone? How can I deconstruct it and reconstruct it in my own way that will make it better for myself or my constituents or people that support me, right? And I think that's what Elon and this whole group of people and innovators are looking at the government and kind of looking at it from a business perspective of how can we optimize, cut the fat, be more creative, invest more in research and development to get a next level opportunity because that's what America has always been. It's been a giant test of capitalism, democracy, and all these different layers. And I think how we mix those chemicals as far as more education, more healthcare, different layers of housing and support, all these different layers of things mixed in with that capitalism, mixed in with great marketing, mixed in with great operations. This is what makes a great business and overall a great country. Ray Dalio has a great book. He's one of the biggest hedge fund owners in the world, and he has a great book called Principles. And he has the volume three, which is called the New World Order, and he talks about these seven metrics that he uses to basically decide if he's investing in countries and different things and gauge in what directions they're going to go and things of that nature. And he has seven metrics, and one of them is education, and then the other one's like innovation, um, like work and school opportunities, and then like it goes down from there. You can go check that out, The New World Order by Ray Dalio. But one of the things that he says is that if a country lacks in education, then they lack in innovation. And because they lack in innovation, they lack in economics and in building businesses and scaling. And I think that's one of the big things that Elon keeps talking about is regulation has been strangling the innovation and the education because education being standardized and everybody has to learn the same stuff, but then they're lowering the standards so less people are learning and they have less ways of learning. Like it's not custom to each person. I think I think artificial intelligence, automations, all these different things are going to be able to have a better experience for education, which is going to allow more people from all walks of life, starting with America, but then hopefully the globe, to be able to produce, think, and innovate at a different level. So I'm a strong believer that innovation, artificial intelligence, all of these things are going to lead to a very abundant future. And with these guys leading the ship and kind of optimizing and helping us cut regulations so that we can have a better system, then there'll be more opportunities for small businesses, large businesses to keep growing and building. And that ultimately means everyone is making money because employees are making more money, contractors are making more money, everybody in between is making more money. So that's my pitch for today. I'm having these conversations every Wednesday, every Thursday. You guys are welcome to tap in, join me on this live. You can also join my community at the link in my bio. So you can go to links.chrismateo.com Again, that's links.chrismateo.com. And you can check out all of my offers there. You can book a free call if you're looking to grow your business and learn how to make money online, travel the world, put automations and AI into your business. We could jump on a call and just figure out what the next steps are for you. And then the other thing that we're doing is we're doing a big special right now where you get access to me, you get access to my entire content library, over 100 videos showing you how to implement automations, funnels, and all these different AIs and automations into your business, all for less than $1,000. All right. So for $1,000 or less, you can get 1 year. So that's 1 year, 52 weeks of access to our software with our proven templates. Customers have paid us tens of thousands of dollars. You get all those funnels, all those templates ready to go. You get all the education so you or your team members could execute on all of those funnels and all that tools and those software. And then you also get one-on-one sessions with me where you can jump on these calls and actually Q&A, ask me questions about your business, about your projects, and about things like that. So that's my offer for you guys today. I appreciate everybody who tuned in and tapped in with me. I think this is going to be an amazing time for our country. But at the end of the day, whether Trump wins, whether Harris wins, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, we're all our own individual people and we have to make our legacy stand out. And that's what these calls are about. It's about figuring out ways to upgrade and grow our lives, our businesses, because no one's going to change our circumstances. Doesn't matter. If you were struggling with Biden, you're going to be struggling with Trump. If you were struggling with Obama, you're going to be struggling now. The point is, if you're not fixing it and you're not building yourself to make something better, then it's always going to be the same thing. So whoever's there, make sure you take the personal responsibility to say, I don't care if you're left or right. I'm here to make my family, my legacy known and build something great. And that's what I'm here to help you with. It's your boy, Chris Mateo, Mr. Grow Your Business. Tap in with me and let's see how we can help you grow. Thanks. Peace.